Good evening. We welcome you here to West Valley City's regular City Council meeting. We'll call our meeting to order. We note that we have 6 members of the council present. We excuse Councilwoman Karen Lang tonight, who will not be with us. With that then, our opening ceremony tonight is Councilman Lars Nordfeldt.
Everyone, please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As far as I can determine, there's no scout groups here, and so we'll pass over that. And then our minutes, item number 5 to the council and for the minutes of December 2nd, regular meeting.
Mayor, I'll move for approval of the minutes of December 2nd.
Councilman Vincent has moved we approve the minutes of December 2nd. Do we have a second on that motion?
Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Councilman Bueller has the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes of December 2nd, 2014, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. Public comment. I didn't get a document, so I assume no one signed up to speak. Okay. Then since there is no public comment, we'll turn to our Assistant City Manager. Any comments, Mr. Isaac?
Oh, sir, thank you.
Okay, then to the council for any comments. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. We go to item number 7. And this is to regarding accepting public input for an impact fee facilities plan that we are to adopt on impact fee analysis and an ordinance amending our impact fees based upon that study. And so we have a requirement by state law to regularly review our impact fees and then to update them in accordance with the information that is gathered, and that is what we are discussing tonight. So at this point, with that kind of vague introduction, I will declare that we will accept or have a public hearing on the matter, and we will open that public hearing to the public for comment at this point. Is there anyone here who has come to speak on the matter before us, impact fees? No? Boy, December is quiet. And of course, impact fees are so much fun anyway. With that, then, I will declare closed the public hearing portion of our meeting on impact fees. And we will now turn to the council for consideration of resolution number 14-190, which is to adopt an impact fees and facilities plan and impact fee analysis. To the council for discussion or action. Councilman Rushton.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to make a few comments for our record and ultimately in support of the resolution and the ordinance change regarding impact fees. But I did just want to note, however, that personally, that one of the first things that I did upon being elected to this council several years ago was update our impact fee schedule. And instinctually, as well as I think somewhat philosophically, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the whole idea of being a sustainable community while charging impacts fees or impact taxes to try to foot the bills of municipal services. And why maybe, like I said, instinctually or philosophically, probably don't agree with them much in principle, but since it is one of the few tools that we do have in running our municipality, and that I feel very strongly that this study has been conducted in the most thorough and upright way, and a good assessment of our city and how that if we are going to be a community that assesses impact fees, that we're doing them in the most responsible and equitable way possible. I think it's also heartening to note as we get into the ordinance on the changes of it, that many of the impact fees have gone down, and some of them have gone down substantially as our city becomes more and more built out and the infrastructure has been put in place, that the tax imposed on new businesses and new developments through these fees are slowly being taken away or absorbed, and that the city is on a strong financial path and a strong footing going forward. And so this is a good thing for the city to have not only the study done, but to upgrade them and commend those that have worked on this project. And I think it'll ultimately be good as we continue to develop West Valley City.
Thank you, Councilman Rushton. Any further comments or action?
Mayor, move for approval of Resolution 14190.
Councilman Vincent has made the motion to approve Resolution 14-190. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Rushton has the second. The motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will place for a vote Resolution 14-190, adopting an impact fees facilities plan and impact fee analysis. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolution is approved. Next, we place for action ordinance number 14-47, which will amend various sections of the Code of West Valley City regarding drainage, park, road, fire, and police impact fees. You have that before you. And so this will actually put into our ordinance those fees as the analysis and plan that were required have thus resulted in changes. So to the council then for comment or action. Councilman Bueller.
Thank you, Mayor. I move for approval of ordinance 14-47.
We have the motion by Councilman Bueller to approve ordinance number 14-47 to amend our code. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Nordfeld has the second. The motion is properly before us. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing no further comment, we will place for a vote ordinance number 14-47 to amend sections of our code regarding impact fees. Those in favor of the ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Ordinance number 14-47 is approved. Next we go to resolutions. 14-191, this is to approve an interlocal cooperation agreement between our city and other cities and agencies regarding Utah Public Works Emergency Management Services. And this, I believe we've had other agreements in the past. This is continuing that type of agreement to have arrangements between ourselves and other entities in emergency management services. If we run out of certain types of equipment, of course we do this based upon fees and reimburse them, but we have it an interlocal agreement to be able to have that action take place. So, with that introduction, to the council for any comments or action. Councilman Nordfeld.
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 14191.
We have a motion to approve before us on this resolution. Do we have a second?
Second?
Councilman Vincent has the second. The motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? We mentioned, for those who might be listening in and those who are visiting tonight, this is the second time we have discussed these items in our agenda. These were discussed last week, and so we've had ongoing discussion and now a week to ponder these as all items that we've previously done tonight. And so with that, if there's not a lot of discussion, it's because we've had most of our questions answered and are ready to move forward. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All those in favor of approving 14-191, the interlocal cooperation agreement between our city and other cities and entities, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolution is approved. We now go to Resolution 14-192, an agreement with Avenue Consultants for professional engineering services for Phase 2 of the Fairborn Station area with Horrocks Engineers. And for, let's see, excuse me, no, that's for professional engineering services on Phase 2 of Fairborn Station. I stopped there. So that's the resolution. This is a contract. We will be letting any further comments or discussion or action on this resolution.
Mayor, move for approval of Resolution 14192.
Councilman Vincent has proposed we approve. Do we have a second on this resolution?
Second.
Councilman Nordfeld has the second. The motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll place the motion to approve Resolution 14-192 for professional engineering services on Phase 2 of Fairborn Station. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolution is approved. We now look at Resolution 14-193, an agreement with Horrocks Engineers to provide professional services for the Parkway Boulevard reconstruction project. And that's a contract that we will let for continuing efforts, and we're doing a lot of work along that area. For these professional services, then, to the council for action or comment. Councilman Rushton.
Mayor, I'll move approval of Resolution 14-192.
193. We have the motion before us. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Gunn has the second. Motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will place for a vote Resolution 14-193. Those in favor of approving this resolution for professional services for the Parkway Boulevard reconstruction project, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. Resolution 14-193 is approved. We now go to Resolution 14-194 to authorize the purchase of Taser Axon Flex body cameras for use by the police department. This is somewhat self-explanatory. These are cameras that would be used by our officers, and also and I was thinking of the other 4 officers in our forensics area, 4 or 5, I can't remember which it was, to use these cameras on duty. That is the issue. There was a fair amount of discussion on this over the last couple of weeks regarding the use of these cameras. There are still issues that have to be resolved as far as the training and so forth. but I believe there was a lot of discussion. I was not here last week and missed that, but was the week before, so. Any additional comments we ought to bring up there? Were all questions answered with regards to this? Councilman Bueller.
Thank you, Mayor. Not a question, but I'd make a comment. I'm confident in Chief Russell's presentation and the due diligence and research behind the selection of the product as well as storage and so forth of the data. I'm pleased that it's eyeglass mounted product. Looks like it has better pickup than a body mount, and I'm also pleased as a city that we have the opportunity to lead out on this venture and set a standard for police departments in our state. And with that, Your Honor, I make a motion for approval of Resolution 14-194.
We have a motion to approve before us. Do we have a second?
A second.
Councilman Young has the second. The motion is properly before us on Resolution 14-194. I think I would add a couple of comments as well. I didn't have that opportunity again last week, certainly to just highlight a couple of issues. Certainly the use of cameras can be an extremely useful tool. The questions about these are, of course, when they are used, what situations should they be used in, and I know that the chief has been preparing standards for these. One of the great challenges, of course, is the storage of the information. And I was just trying to confirm, perhaps that you could confirm for me, Mr. Isaac, these will be stored for, under routine circumstances, was it 3 or 4 weeks?
I think it was 3.
30 days.
30 days.
Basically 4 weeks and 30 days. Now, one of the issues, and I would raise the question here, not necessarily to have it responded to, but that we need to address, of course, is how do we decide which items get eliminated? In 30 days, typically complaints will arise, but even on traffic stops, the most common type of complaint that is received is how the officer treated the individual, whether on a traffic stop, a domestic violence call, or something like that. And these do not always surface within a 30-day time frame. Now, I think the majority of them do. But the key in this is for those exceptions where there is some potential for a claim. Simply having that, I don't know, I raised the issue of will 30 days normally cover that. I know as I went around, I heard complaints from several months prior in which people raised it. Some of those get very anxious and immediately make a complaint. But the question would be, what about those who do it later? And where is the cost-benefit line? I believe that's been determined to be about 4 weeks. And on most things where there is little or no question, maybe that's true. But at some point you will have to identify some that perhaps we ought to save. So I bring up that issue. The other issue is, on the use of these, one of the questions I raised is occasionally our officers do a double shift. And I don't know that those camera batteries will last that long. And that was one of the issues I understand in some other cities. We have to have those where they are available and or charged up, or a second set of batteries available for use with them for those unusual circumstances. Sure enough, those will be the areas where something will happen sooner or later, as it did in some of these other cities. And a dead battery is just as good as no camera at all. A battery or a camera that is not turned on is no better than no camera at all. So it is key and incumbent upon us to ensure that we look at all the potential situations that would arise to ensure that if we are going to spend this money and make these available for the protection of our officers and citizens, that we have them and procedures in place to accommodate them. So, Mr. Isaac, this is not really, I don't know, requires any type of a response other than to make sure that we look at those issues, and maybe you already have, but we just want to have it on record that we need to look at those issues. And then as well, what standards would be in place with our officers, because again, in a situation in another city where they were testing the use of these, where they simply didn't turn them on. Now, under emergency situations, that may not be practical, but normally those should be, and unless there is an emergency situation, there ought to be some sort of, because of the expense we're going to and the need that the council has expressed in support of these, there needs to be some sort of follow-up action, even to the point of some case, perhaps even disciplinary action for officers who fail to routinely bring those on board. Now, I believe that, there's been discussion to that, but I just reiterate it again.
Yeah, thank you. I do know, not to necessarily speak for the chief, but I do know that if the council approves the resolution this evening, the police department will begin immediately to produce and write policies and procedures that will accompany this, along with the training that's going to be necessary. And so your thoughts, Mayor, are very well taken and have been noted.
Yeah, and I believe that, and I don't know if the council requested that, is there a desire on the part of the council that once those procedures are in place that we receive an update on that? Because this is very likely, with our action, to be something that will be a media newsworthy item.
You bet.
And so there will probably be some instances where people will test the system to see if we're actually following through. So yes, if that's okay at a future meeting,
You bet.
once those are put in place.
No problem.
to
No,
bring
thank
an
you very
update.
much for your counsel, and we have noted that, and we will certainly be willing to come back and obviously update you on any of the progress that we're making there.
And we encourage the council, as you run across questions that you may have or that you hear about in the media, to please communicate those to Mr. Isaac or Mr. Pyle, and for consideration. That does not mean that that is a requirement to be put in, but any council member can raise an issue to get some feedback, which may or may not be included in subsequent policy and procedures for the use of these cameras. Councilman Vincent.
I just want to add to what Councilman Bueller was talking about, in the fact that we are leading the way in this, and purchasing 175 cameras that will take care of our entire boots on the ground. It's not a small unit that would have them, but all those that are out performing their duties will be able to have access to these cameras. So we're doing it in a comprehensive way, not just piecemeal, and I think that allows us to move forward as a leader in the community and in the state.
Thank you. Councilman Rushton.
Thank you. I also rise to speak in favor of the resolution and the purchase. I think we'd be a little, as you can see, it's been mentioned that we've done, not only the department has done a lot of research and due diligence and study on this, but also the city council in previous study meetings has spent a lot of time on this subject. And I think even with this discussion goes that when you first talk about the police cameras, it's a lot of the discussion goes to technology and usage. But the thing that makes it the easiest part for me to support this is that the chief and his assistant chiefs in bringing this to us, didn't say, hey, we're going to outfit 175 cameras throughout the city and it's going to solve all of our police issues and problems. And everything, but it's a good tool to have, and that it used the right way, with the correct training, in the right hands and with the right situations, that it can be a good tool for not only the police department but for the public that they serve, to receive that higher level of service. And so again, I think the easy thing for me, to where I thought getting into police cameras would be all about the technology and just having more eyes, more cameras on the street, that really just kudos to the chief and his department for bringing it back to the important part, which is the officer and the training and the fact that it's a tool and how the tool will be used. And so I'm confident that, and would, since it's been mentioned, we are leading the way for a lot of cities, would admonish other cities that are thinking about this to not see it as the magic silver bullet that it's portrayed as, of just having more cameras on the street, but being put in the right hands with the right training and the right officers, can be an asset for the community all around. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and we do commend our chief for his forward thinking, as well as the department. This is a project he has been working on for an extended period of time, as well as the council, and has received encouragement and support from the council and certainly the department. And he has done it in what I believe to be a proper way, not just a quick reaction to events that occurred, but rather a thoughtful process of evaluation, testing, in finding the right product that will best serve our needs, and is a reflection of his and our commitment to serve the citizens of West Valley City. Again, it's not the end-all answer, it doesn't solve all problems, but it is an important tool that we agree needs to be in place. Seeing no further comments, I'll place the resolution for a vote. Those in favor of approving Resolution 14-194 for the purchase of body cameras for use by the police department, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolution is approved. Next, we have on our agenda item number 9, which are our consent agenda for a number of resolutions, 14-195 through 14-203. These are mostly, all of them except for one, appointments to different commissions and advisory boards and councils and societies, with the last one being the execution recording of a delay agreement for a piece of property which was appropriately done. These are very technical items. Does anyone on the council wish to separate any of those, or can we, if you so desire, we'd like to motion as a group? Councilman Rush?
Mayor, I would move that we approve all items of the consent agenda, the 8 reappointments or appointments of boards, and the 1 delay agreement.
The motion is before us. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Vincent has the second. The motion is properly before us. Any discussion to any of these items? Seeing no discussion, then we will place them for a vote. Those in favor of approving all items on the consent calendar, resolutions 14-195 through and including 14-203, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolutions are approved. Any further comments from the council before we finish our meeting for tonight? And we don't have any other meetings till next week, right? After this one. Is that right, or are they tonight? I got off since I was missed last week.
We have meetings for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, excuse me. That's correct. In fact, thank you for bringing that up. We will not hold a city council meeting until the 6th of January because of the Christmas holiday and because the 5th Tuesday this time I got the day of the week right, the 5th Tuesday of December, or any month, we don't hold a council meeting. By the way, we had a group come and attend tonight. I assume
Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts.
Yep.
Some of you don't look like Boy Scouts. Just one, okay. Well, welcome. We appreciate your coming tonight. We typically recognize those, but that was earlier in our agenda, so just thank you for coming tonight. This is a fairly brief meeting, but in December they are brief. So with that, one final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion to adjourn passes unanimously. We are adjourned.